Hello, entrepreneurs. Hello, hello. I am so glad to have you. I'm glad that you've joined me because my good friend Andy O'Brien isn't well. So I'm asking you to send him love and light. And I am here instead of Andy, who will do a makeup session teaching you how to write really incredible copy. And that will be soon. So I look forward to our time together. I'm excited to have you. And we're just going to get into it because today I want to help you create a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. And I want you to understand that to have qualified prospects, you need consistency and strategy. Those are two words that are writer downers. Consistency and strategy. You know, I talk to entrepreneurs every single day who are frustrated. And when I really hear what they're writing, what they're emailing, what they're posting, what they're sharing on social media, what they're saying in conversations or in online or offline networking, very often they're saying the wrong thing to the wrong people, even at the wrong time. So today I'm going to help by really showing you the kinds of content and how to share and what actually creates the heart-to-heart connection that leads to a conveyor belt of qualified prospects finding you through reverse marketing every single day. So the first thing you need to know is who your exact audience is. Who is it that you want to reach? Who is it that you want to serve? Now, some of you might have more than one profile, right? You might be a leadership coach or consultant working with executives, and you also might work with teams. I want you to start thinking, who is my ideal client family member, and what does that customer look like? I want you to really get clear on this. And in the Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine Facebook group, in the files section, I have all kinds of downloadable resources so that you can develop your ideal client profile. Once you have your ideal client profile, then and only then can you truly determine how specific your messaging can be. And if you have a very tight messaging, core unique positioning statement, which I teach in my book, The Conversion Equation, the easier it will be to have people coming to you every single day and raising their hands. So I want to define something and make a distinction here. Conversion versus education. Write that down. That's really important. Conversion versus education. Conversion versus education. Now, in order to, for example, have someone, let's say, stop using another coach, another consultant, they would be quote unquote converting. Converting means you convert from, think of religion, convert from one religion to the next. Conversion is buying from you instead of someone else. So if your prospects are already buying what you're selling, then you can be much more direct and much more frequent in how you chat with people because you don't have to educate them. They already know that they have a need for your programs, products, or services. When client family members come to me, they typically come to me because they already know what's important. They already understand what's important. And so they come to me and they already want business help. Now, the opposite is when you're not converting and you're educating. That's when a prospect might not even know that they need your help or what you're offering, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's copywriting, whether it's education, coaching, or consulting. Then they actually need some education and they need some confidence that you're the right person. So I get asked all the time, well, what do I focus on? And I'm going to say, in our post-pandemic world, hopefully, a lot of things have changed. Everything is faster paced now. So it means that if you land on my website and you fill out a form, you're going to get a text message. You're going to hear from us as quickly as possible. We're not going to wait. If we speak with you on the phone, we're going to very quickly get in touch with you. So this strategy is something I recommend. I know many people don't respond to messages, sometimes for days. And it's really, really important that you hurry up and respond to people. So I'm going to teach you my rule of threes. I recommend that you have a 3-day rotation for your prospects. And if you do this correctly, you don't have to be, emailing all the time or anything like that. It's just a very simple 3-day cycle. And basically every 3 days, I am sending value and education when someone is new in my world. So if you're doing, quote, mass marketing, and you're sending out emails to tons of people, you don't want to message that frequently. However, if you're in the process of educating new people, definitely you want to be in touch with them right away. Now, if you're converting, again, going back to converting versus educating, then you want someone to switch from buying someone else. So in my case, somebody else's coaching, consulting, mentoring that's not fully guaranteed, because no one else guarantees 6 figures in 6 months. However, if I'm educating someone who really doesn't know that they even need business help, then I am going to send them educational messages, all right? So I want you to think about when you're going to send your messages out. I will tell you that when I send most of my messages out, I look at my messages and ask, is this bringing value? I want to make this clear. Always bring something of value to each and every email. Otherwise, don't bother sending it. Okay, so ABV, always bring value. ABV, always be value. I have been in this industry for almost 32 years. I have a lot of insights to share. I've been an entrepreneur for 43 years. I've owned 8 different multi-million-dollar business. I've worked with almost 6,200 folks around the world. What I share, and hopefully in helping you here, are insights and information. And that's what I do in the Heartrepreneur group. And I bring value. I don't look to sell. All I do is creating value, value, value. And what happens is reverse marketing. People come into my world, they raise their hand, they ask to work with me and my company versus me doing ads or hunting for them. So every time you do a social media post, you write a blog, you write an article, you do a live, you create a video, you send an email, begin by asking questions. Or you're even on the phone or at a networking event, unless you really understand what the prospect is looking for, not what you want to offer, what your prospect is looking for, and asking questions and then deeply tuning in and being open and curious, then you're not going to be able to help them. So I want to know what kind of outcomes people are looking for. 100%, I want you to be customer focused, which means we want to understand prospects' needs better. We want to gain more info about them so we could share information. Listen, a lot of people do this wrong. They do it as a one-sided conversation. I'm customer focused. While I'm communicating, I sometimes may come up with a different solution than the prospect might be expecting. And it's amazing how much long-term value I've been able to create by helping people see a different solution and potentially a different outcome. So think about this. This is really important. Write this down. What would happen if your prospects actually looked forward to the emails you send, to your social media posts, because of the value that you bring to their day? That, my friend, should be your goal. So I'm going to give you some things that you want to do. This is where I give you actions, and now it's up to you to implement. First is ask people their opinion. Everyone likes to share their opinion, even me, right? However, I want you to use opportunities when you engage with your prospects to listen, to really understand their needs and challenges. And the same if you're talking to somebody in a phone conversation, on Zoom, in a networking event. Second, ask their views. So it might be, what are your views on cold calling? What are your views on consulting? What are your views on health and wellness? Whatever it is you do. What are your views on divorce, relationship? I have to say that deep down, the biggest desire that people have, and this comes from my experience as a speech language pathologist and a clinical psychologist, is that people want to communicate and they want to be heard. So allow people to dialogue with you. Don't be the smartest one in the room. You may just be that spark that has someone open up, that has someone share, and that moves them forward. Next, ask a question. It's not about, let me just spew all the knowledge that I have. The more questions you ask, the more that people will begin to engage with you. And a great way to achieve prospects really getting engaged with you is by asking a question. If you do not yet have my book, The Conversion Equation, I not only teach that in the book, I give you a ton of examples from real clients that you can use. So one of the things that I do is I repeat back something that a prospect has shared, something that maybe they shared on the phone. Maybe they shared it, a year ago at an event that I was in with them. And why do I do that? I want them to know that I really deeply tune in and listen to them, that their opinion and their voice truly matters, and that their view and their ideas are of interest to me. The next is use industry terms. And let me explain that. You want to be seen as the industry insider who has a lot of credibility. You don't want to bounce around a lot of jargon. However, when you advocate for something and you teach something, you want to know more than your target audience. So you want to show that you have the knowledge and education. Here's another little secret. Reference someone that they may respect. I don't even have to know people. I might know that they belong to a certain organization or a trade organization, or if they've read certain books, or they belong to a like-minded LinkedIn group or Facebook group, or that I met them at a Jack Canfield event or Tony Robbins event. And always be sure to use people's names. It demonstrates that you really care. I also recommend that you state a number. Okay, if you have something definitive to share, state a number. Hey, I just found out these 3 things. Call me and I'll be happy to share them with you. Or I have 5 new secrets. I'll be happy to teach them. Imagine if you sent out an email that said, I have 5 new secrets how to get, in my world, a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. Call me. Just so you know, I just tipped my hand. That's a subject line that I have used numerous times in 25 years. My phone rings off the hook. Okay, if it's of interest to the prospect, they will actually pick up the phone and call you. Also, use specific dates. Could be the end of the month or a key thing that's coming up, because that gets that little sense of urgency that we as human beings need. And if a prospect shows no urgency in my case, having their business grow, it's a red flag. I move on. I want people who implement and not who make excuses. You might also include a specific activity that's going on in your company. It might be a webinar. It might be something else. Finally, every time that you are with a prospect, you must give them a call to action. They don't know what you want them to do unless you speak up. Do include one call to action, not multiple. And I see some of your posts, and different groups have a million of them. It's not go to my website and download this. It's not go do this. Keep it simple. The call to action should be to engage with you. And honestly, the best way to do that is have them call you. Because if they want to go to your website, they're going to do it on their own. So your goal is to create an interest in the next step. You extend your hand, you create a little interest in the first engagement, and then more in the second, third, and fourth, right? And then it's call me. That's your call to action. Call me, call me, call me. Now, a couple of call to action do nots or don'ts. Don't give people so much information that they're overwhelmed. That doesn't work. Don't tell them that you're going to call them, because people don't like being called and they prefer to call you. And as infrequently as prospects will call you, you want to achieve that with each and everything that you do. Social media posts, emails. I'm going to tip my hand and give you some phrases to avoid. I'm burning the entire curtain back today. Don't use the phrases I or me. That's all about you. Personal pronouns are fine, and family emails and friends emails, not when you're talking to prospects. The second thing not to say is just checking in. You check in at a hotel. You don't check in through email or social media posts. Please don't send out what I see all the time. And I got a couple of these in my inbox today. In case you missed my earlier email, Bring value with each new email or social media post that you use, and don't try and get people to go back to old emails. One that I saw today said, I'm sure you didn't get the time to read this. Well, of course, if I didn't respond, I didn't get the time. However, the person didn't ask themselves, is that bringing new value? No, it's not. I got this one a few weeks ago. It said, tell me when you're ready to talk. There's no sense of urgency. Your message should engage the prospect to pick up the phone and call you. My favorite one that I've seen many times is, this will be the last email I send you. We call it the proverbial breakup email. People say, I get a really huge response rate. That doesn't lead to a conversation, right? What percentage of those people actually convert? I'm going to get very few. How about this one? This is such a bland one. How's your day going? That's worse than almost anything that you can possibly send out. Or how's business? Why should I tell you how my business is? How about this one? I'm not sure you're the right person I should be emailing. Well, then don't email me. Or if you try to be funny or cute, okay? So I really want you to take some time and to think about every email you send or every social media post. Will the subject line generate interest? It must connect with the person or they won't respond. Does the first sentence or the first line create a hook? And don't forget that on many devices, on social media and by email, sometimes we only see the first sentence, so we might not even want to go further. Is what you're sending timely and current? Is it important to your prospects' priorities? And before you send, make sure before you post that you have an exact specific call to action. One, make it concise. Make sure you're using the person's name twice. And if it's an email or a social media post, make sure that you focus on one thing. When things are complicated, I tell my client family members all the time, a confused mind doesn't buy. And that is going to make all the difference. So let me say that this is an important part of getting clients. This is how you will get clients, and this is how you will get a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. So if you're really serious about having my help, I'm going to say, put the words call me in the comments, literally call me. And then I will give you my phone number so you can call me and we can converse. We are here every single week at 2 p.m. Eastern in Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine, doing exactly what I said, creating value. I hope you'll tune in and join me next time and invite like-minded folks to Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine. And if you haven't joined, make sure that you join us in our community of, I think, almost 7,500 business owners. Create an extraordinary day. The rest of this day and every day is in your hands. The power is always in your hands. Bye for now, my friends.